Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. You know, I'm always energetic, but I'm especially energetic during football season. It's my favorite time of year. And actually, the Fresh Market just invited me to do a live stream on tailgating food, so I'm just all about that this time of year. You probably know by now that there are very few ingredients that are as versatile as an onion. And sweet onions are so delicious in all of the recipes that we're using for football season. From your favorite dips and appetizers to toppings on burgers and brats, and of course there's nothing better than a French fried onion ring. Sweet onions are guaranteed to be the MVP of any tailgate party, and Shuman Farms is going to help educate us all today on how to use these onions in our tailgate recipes. So right here in my home state, Shuman Farms has just been a premier grower of Vidalia and sweet onions. We just love to work with them. So today we're going to do three great recipes. We're going to start with the Southern Baked BLT dip. And then for something that's really like a meal in itself, a chicken taquitos. It is just crispy and delicious. And then finally, a spinach and sweet onion dip. Just perfect for tailgating. And in Vera's Corner today, we're going to go over onion tips that you'll use in the kitchen all year. So let's get started on that Southern Baked BLT dip. All right, so a Southern BLT dip, it just doesn't get any better than that, especially during tailgating season. And you know, our friends at Shuman Farms make this the best recipe. And certainly I want you to remember that all of our recipes are on our website at VeryVera.com. All right, so we learned a lot about Shuman Farms last season. You know, Vidalia onions have always been the pride of the state of Georgia. And you know, you had to have that period of time where you had to wait to get them again. Well, they have partnered with Peru, and the soil and the climate is so much like South Georgia that they can produce these onions all year. So now, if the recipe calls for Vidalia onions, look for sweet onions in your store, and it's basically the exact same thing. So we're very excited about it. So we had a little bit that we needed to do before I got started today. So we started by preheating my oven to 400 degrees. Then I took my half sheet pan and lined it with aluminum foil, and then put one of my cookie cooling racks on top to cook my bacon. This is a great way to cook bacon because it doesn't splatter all over the kitchen. I use the thickly sliced bacon from the Fresh Market. You can get it in the meat department. And so that's basically going to cook in the oven for about 20 minutes. So if your bacon is not thick, you want to keep an eye on it. It might be just 10 or 12 minutes to get it good and crisp. Once that's done, you want to take it from the oven and reserve those bacon drippings that are in the pan because you're going to use those with the cherry tomatoes. All right, so then I took my reserved bacon drippings and tossed my cherry tomatoes in that, nice and glowy. They're just really coated with this delicious bacon drippings. And I put those back into the 400-degree oven for 10 minutes. Gets them bursted open. It's going to be so good in this recipe. And when I took them from the oven, I could put them directly on my Cambria countertop because it can take that kind of heat. So that's one of the features of my kitchen that I really, really love. All right, so now we're ready to get started on everything that has to do with this dip. So I've got my Fresh Market cream cheese in the bowl. It's at room temperature, very pliable, makes it easy. And then this is their sharp cheddar cheese. And as you can see, we hand grated it, making it really nice to mix in with all of these ingredients. All right, then we've got their brand of sour cream. And you know, all of this is so handy right there in the same section in the grocery store. All right, then I'm using Hellmann's mayonnaise today. So we'll add that in. And this makes quite a bit, so it just depends on how many folks you're having over to watch the game. You might want to half the recipe or do the whole thing, and it'll last in the refrigerator. And now this is garlic paste, and this is also Fresh Market. You find this in the refrigerated section of the produce department. So this is a very concentrated garlic. Now I'm going to add in my chopped bacon that I just took a pair of kitchen shears after it was nice and crisp and cut that up. And then here we go with the sweet onions that really make this recipe. And now I'm just gonna mix this all together. All right, so we just wanna get this good and coated and mixed together well. And I've reduced my temperature of the oven from 400 to 350 to cook this. So now let's add in these tomatoes, and they will just, you know, basically get into smaller pieces when you stir this together. And this time of year, they're really kind of large when you buy them at the store. So I'll continue to mix this up. My pan is sprayed, so I'm ready to go there. All right, and when we come back from the break, we're gonna get started on chicken taquitos. You're gonna love this one. So come back with me in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, and if you're just joining me, we're celebrating tailgating here in the South. You know, there's nothing like college football, and tailgating can be done from your own family room, which is what I'm gonna do this weekend. So we're making some great recipes today with our partners at Shuman Farms. You know, in making dishes during the year with Vidalia onions, you know, there was that time of year where you couldn't get them. Well, Shuman Farms was one of the very first Vidalia onion growers to partner with Peru to produce an onion that is almost exactly like the onions that we enjoy all year that are grown in Vidalia. So today we're making a chicken taquitos. It is such a good dish. You know, this is a great supper idea if you're looking for something that your kids will love, but it's really amazing to do for a football game. So we're gonna start with the filling first. I've got some cream cheese that I picked up at the fresh market. I've let it come to room temperature, so it's nice and soft, and all these ingredients will go in very easily. So I've got sour cream, and again, these can be made, you know, in advance is why I'm getting this done so I can enjoy the game myself. We've got salsa. All right. Then we've got rotisserie chicken. You know, you can always pick up rotisserie chicken at the fresh market. Comes in so handy, whether you're using it whole for dinner or whether you're shredding it for something like this. And then this is their Mexican blend of cheese, and it's coarsely grated and looks exactly like I did it myself. So that's another great product that they have. All right, then we've got cumin, garlic powder, chili powder, and cayenne pepper. And then finally the sweet onions. All right, so we're gonna just mix this together. All right, so this is gonna be the delicious filling. And because it's so thick and hearty, it's very easy to roll in your shells. All right, so I've got some salt and pepper out here. And because I've made this a few times myself, I know pretty much how much pepper I want to add, but of course it's to taste. So I'm going to add a little bit of pepper and a little bit of salt. All right, so over on my induction cooktop, one of the nicest features of that is the fact that I can have it simmering so that when I get ready to go to this part, the pan is already warm, but it's not too warm. All right, so let me give you a little bit more information about my friends at Shuman Farm. My friends at Shuman Farms are almost as passionate about college football as they are about growing the world's sweetest onions. That's why they've partnered with 2 universities right here in our state to become the official sweet onion of the Georgia Bulldogs and the Georgia Southern Eagles. All right, so my pan is warm. And you know, one of the things about working with these tortilla shells is that you want to keep them moist. So you saw I had a damp towel just to keep them moist until I get to this point. I've put olive oil in my pan, and all we're really doing here is getting this limp so that it'll roll easily. And so I'm going to turn my heat up to about medium Another feature of this induction cooktop is, you know, if you want to go down on temperature or up on temperature, it happens very quickly. I love that part. All right, so I'm just going to flip those. And then we're going to put a heaping tablespoon of our mixture in each one. So I'm going to transfer now over to my cutting board both of these. And then while I'm rolling, I'll get 2 more going. All right, so my spoon right in the center, close to the edge, and we want to go all the way out to the edge. And if you roll it really tightly, you don't need a toothpick. That's just going to go directly on my sheet pan. So one of the things that I wanted to reiterate about Shuman Farms is that they plant the same seed varieties that its Vidalias are grown from on their farms in Peru, where the similar climate and sandy soils produce a world-class sweet onion with the same shape and mild sweet flavor that we've all come to know and love. All right, so I'm going to finish these up during the break, and when we come back in Vera's Corner today, we're going to go over some tips about onions in general, and then we're going to do a spinach and sweet onion dip that I think you'll love. Vera's Corner is brought to you by TaxSlayer. Since onions have such varying flavors, it's important to pick the right one for the dish that you're making. Let me give you some tips on how to pick the right onion to make your dishes pop. Sweet onions are mild and crisp, making them ideal for gratins, roasted vegetables, and frying. Their sweetness also makes them ideal for caramelizing. While Vidalia onions are only available during the spring and summer months, you can find sweet onions at your grocery store year-round. Red onions are bright in color and crispy in texture, best for eating raw or making guacamole, salads, and sandwiches. A yellow onion is another versatile option. With a more mellow flavor, these are the right pick for sautéing or roasting. They are available year-round and make a great substitution if you don't have any sweet onions on hand. Softer and milder and sweeter than reds and yellows, a white onion will be your best option for dicing in salsas or using in stir-fries. Green onions or scallions are even milder and softer. These are a perfect garnish for many dishes like omelets, adding a nice pop of color. Shallots are the most mild and delicate, but with an added garlicky flavor, making them best for vinaigrettes, quiche, and garnishes. The next time you're in search of the right onion, use this guide to make the best choice for your desired dish. Start free today at TaxSlayer.com. Welcome back, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed Vera's Corner today. You know, onions can really be the star of the show. All right, so we've got another dip for tailgating, and you know, think, well, you made a lot of dips today, Vera, but dips are great for tailgating, and you know, there's one of those things where people can kind of come and go and get something as they want it. So this is the sweet onion and spinach dip that is just really, really good, very colorful. I had a little bit I had to do in advance, so we sliced the onions very thin and put them in some olive oil in a cast iron skillet for 20 minutes. And they're just gonna start to caramelize and get really golden and beautiful. We added in some garlic paste to that as well, just to give it some really good flavor. And then after we removed those from the pan, we had the nice drippings in the bottom. Then we cooked down some cut up country ham. So this is part of this recipe that's really different because it's crispy, but once it gets in the dip, it gets to just the right consistency for dipping. All right, so to the onion, I'm gonna add in the country ham that we've drained on a paper towel. And then I've got cream cheese again. And you know, a lot of these recipes you can save to use at other times. You know, we got holidays coming up, you've got people coming over for lots of different reasons. So it's just one of those times where it's just great to talk about it all at once. All right, this is grated mozzarella. I've got grated Parmesan. So let's do a little mixing here. And then the nice thing about using frozen spinach in a recipe is that you can just let it thaw out, and then you can squeeze all the water out of it so that you've got something that's not too watery to add into this. All right, now I'm going to add in, and you see it's almost like you want to put it in there and separate it with your fingers as it goes in. One other tip I wanted to add in about Shuman Farms is that part of what makes this relationship with Peru so wonderful for them and for their employees is that when those onions get back to Georgia, then the sales team and the people in the packaging department all have their jobs all year round. So it's just really wonderful for them. All right, so this is going to go in my sprayed casserole dish, and will go in the oven. The nice thing about this dip too is it's just as good at room temperature as it is piping hot. And you can serve it with crackers or toast rounds, corn chips, whatever you want. So this has come together really well. You can see all the ingredients in there. I've sprayed my pan. It's gonna go into the oven to get hot, and I'll get that in during the break. And when we come back, I'm gonna have this amazing presentation of how all this comes together so you can enjoy this time. Getting it all done before your guests arrive, make it really easy, and I've given you some great recipes today that you can do just that. So I'll see you back in just a few minutes. Okay, I think we've learned today how sweet onions can be the MVP of your tailgate party, whether you're at the game or whether you're in your own home. And you know, a few weeks ago, I gave you some tips on actually going to the stadium or being in the parking lot at the big football game and how to keep things cool and warm, you know, using a cooler and making sure that you pay attention to, you know, the insects and all of that. But now we're in the air conditioning, we're in my den, we're gonna enjoy having family and friends over in just a few minutes, and I just cannot wait to say more about what we've done today. You know, you can make a presentation amazing in your own home. You know, a lot of times for me, it's picking out the vessel before I even make the menu. What do I want to serve things on and in before I even create what we're going to have to eat? So let's go back through what we did today. We started with the bacon, lettuce, and tomato dip, the Southern all the way through and through. So one of the things I love about this dip is that you can garnish it and you don't even have to use a tip card to tell your guests what that is. You see the lettuce, you see the tomatoes. The only thing that's missing is the bacon, and I'm going to add that now. It's just really crispy on the top, so it really sings what that recipe is by virtue of how you've displayed it. The next thing we did was the chicken taquitos. And these look great, displayed going up. So like I said, pick your vessel out to make sure that you've displayed your food as beautifully as you can. We've got some salsa in the middle, and these can be done ahead, and it appeared that we were putting a lot of oil on these today, but as you can see, the oil is absorbed in the shell itself, and they just crisp up really great. Perfect. We've got some little plates there so people can just dip and make a plate and go back to the couch and watch the game. I love that. And then the spinach ham dip, sweet onions in that as well, and it bakes up beautifully in a Pyrex dish. But you know, think of your garnish and have people walk away from your party saying, she really did an amazing job of laying this out. You know, roasted corn on the grill really doesn't have anything to do with that dip, but it has everything to do with how beautifully it's displayed. It just really pops that display. A Pyrex dish on top of a cutting board with that, it looks like you went to a lot of trouble. So in terms of how all of this comes together, just remember to pick recipes that you can make a day or 2 days in advance so that you can enjoy your guests when they come. Having all of this ready to go and laying it out on the table has made this really easy, for me, and I think my guests will have more fun if I'm not running back and forth to the kitchen replenishing the whole time. Put out a lot at once because generally speaking, everybody eats at about the same time. And then, in terms of Shuman Farms, we've taught you so much today about the fact that we used to all have to wait. When spring was over, you couldn't get those onions anymore. And now you can get them because of their association with Peru. You can get them from September through March. So you can use those recipes all year long. And if you want to know more about our friends at Shuman Farms, go to their website at ShumanFarmsGeorgia.com and learn a lot about this Georgia-grown company and this family business. So, as I always say on the Very Vera Show, no matter what you do it in good taste. You're going to be in good taste with these sweet onions. So I hope you'll come back again and join me next week.